Greetings, seekers of wisdom. Welcome, wanderers of thought and lovers of myth. Gather close, for today we traverse the celestial planes and earthly realms to unravel the saga of the Griffin, a creature of paradox, a symbol of the cosmic balance between beast and divinity. This is not merely a story of claws and gold, but a meditation on guardianship, ambition, and the price of eternity. Let us begin. The birth of the Griffin, where sky marries earth. In the primordial twilight, when the gods still whispered secrets to the wind, the Griffin emerged from the union of two realms. Its father was the eagle, sovereign of the skies, whose wings carved paths through storms. Its mother was the lion, monarch of the earth, whose roar shook mountains. Together, they birthed a creature that defied categorization, the Griffin, with the eagle's head, piercing eyes like molten suns, and the lion's body, muscles coiled like ancient rivers. A lesser-known truth: the Griffin's creation was no accident. The Titan Prometheus, in his foresight, molded the first Griffin from clay and starlight, imbuing it with a singular purpose: to guard the Axis Mundi, the pillar where heaven and earth converge. This pillar, hidden in the Hyperborean north, was said to hold the weight of cosmic order. Few myths speak of this, for even among gods, the Griffin's true origin was a secret sworn to silence. The Guardian's burden, gold, greed, and the Arimaspian War. The Griffin's legend is often reduced to its feud with the Arimaspians, one-eyed humans who coveted the gold it protected. But to understand this conflict is to grasp humanity's oldest sin, the hunger for what is forbidden. In the frozen valleys of Scythia, where the air itself shimmered with auroras, the Griffins hoarded gold not for greed, but as a sacred charge. The metal was no mere treasure. It was the crystallized tears of Helios, the sun god, shed when he witnessed mortal suffering. To steal it was to unravel the sun's compassion. The Arimaspians, however, saw only opportunity. Cyclopean miners, they tunneled like moles through the earth, their single eyes blind to the Griffin's higher purpose. Battles raged for centuries, a dance of blood and feathers. Yet here lies another secret. The Griffins never killed their foes. Instead, they carried the Arimaspians to mountain peaks, forcing them to gaze upon the vastness of the world until their hearts humbled. Few survived the ordeal. Those who did became poets, their one eye forever fixed on the sublime. The Griffin and the divine, chariots, nemesis, and forgotten alliances. While Apollo's chariot is famously drawn by swans, older hymns tell of a time when griffins bore him across the dawn. Their wings fanned the flames of the sunrise, and their claws etched the first laws of justice into the clouds. This partnership frayed when Apollo, in his hubris, demanded the Griffins raise a mortal city that defied him. The Griffins refused, tearing their golden harnesses and retreating to the mountains. From that day, they became symbols of righteous defiance, a lesson even gods must heed. Another clandestine tale involves Nemesis, goddess of retribution. She gifted Griffins the ability to see into souls, tasking them to hunt not bodies, but hubris. Those who boasted of invincibility or mocked the gods would find a Griffin at their doorstep, its presence a mirror forcing them to confront their own fragility. The silent tragedy, the Griffin's loneliness. Beneath the grandeur lies a sorrow seldom told. Griffins were destined to be solitary. They bore no offspring, for each was a singular incarnation of balance. When a Griffin felt its end nearing, it would fly to the nest of ashes, a volcanic crater where it would immolate itself, its essence returning to the stars. From its pyre, a new egg would form, hatching only when the world's equilibrium trembled. This cyclical rebirth held a cruel irony. Every Griffin died without memory of its past lives. Each incarnation began anew, an eternal guardian condemned to forget its own sacrifices. In this, they mirrored humanity's own amnesia, the way each generation repeats follies, unaware of ancestral warnings. The fading, how the Griffin became a whisper. As humanity's empires rose, the Griffin's role waned. Gold lost its divinity, reduced to currency. The Axis Mundi crumbled when philosophers declared the earth round. Yet the Griffin did not vanish. It retreated into the collective unconscious, becoming a metaphor, a herald on coats of arms, a shadow in the stories we tell ourselves about courage and vigilance. In a poignant epilogue, the last recorded griffin appeared not in Greece, but in the Sahara during Alexander the Great's march. It offered him a riddle. What is born of earth and sky, dies by human hands, yet outlives time? Alexander, ever the conqueror, drew his sword. The griffin laughed, a sound like breaking glass, and vanished. The answer, lost to history, is said to haunt leaders who mistake legacy for immortality. The griffin's legacy, a mirror to ourselves. Today, the griffin endures wherever duality reigns. In the artist torn between passion and reason, the soldier balancing wrath and mercy, the lover navigating desire and virtue. It is no mere monster but a philosophical totem, asking, what do you guard? What bridges heaven and earth within you? The griffin's echo, beyond Greece. Beyond time, the griffin's talons left marks not only in Greek soil but across the tapestry of human imagination. In the steppes of Scythia, nomads whispered of Ethon, a griffin whose feathers were said to hold the colors of the northern lights. To these tribes, the griffin was not just a guardian of gold, but a psychopomp, guiding souls through the icy void between life and death. Shamans wore talons as amulets, believing they could pierce illusions and reveal truth. Here, the griffin's duality deepened. It was both destroyer and guide, a creature of cold fire, a hidden thread in Persian lore. The griffin, Shirtle, guarded the Chinvat bridge, where souls were judged. Unlike its Greek counterpart, the Persian griffin possessed a serpent's tail, symbolizing its dominion over chaos. This fusion of eagle, lion, and serpent became a trinity of mastery, sky, earth, and underworld. Yet even here, its role was balance. It devoured the unworthy, but carried the righteous to paradise on its back. Few realized this Persian variant inspired the cherubim of Abrahamic traditions, winged beings flanking divine thrones. The alchemist's griffin, Mercury, sulfur, and the philosopher's stone. When alchemy bloomed in medieval Europe, the griffin soared into its symbology. To adepts like Hermes Trismegistus, the griffin embodied the coniunctio oppositorum, the marriage of opposites. Its eagle half represented Mercury, the volatile, spiritual essence, while the lion stood for sulfur, the fiery, material force. Together, they mirrored the alchemist's quest to unite soul and body, spirit and matter, into the gold of enlightenment. A forgotten recipe, the 14th century text, Aquarium Sapientum claims, griffins shed tears that could dissolve any metal into primordial ooze. Alchemists hunted these tears obsessively, but the griffin, ever elusive, laughed from the shadows. Modern scholars dismiss this as metaphor, yet some insist the tears were real, a metaphor for the humility required to transcend greed. The griffin and the dragon, a dance of eternal rivals. No creature challenged the griffin's reign like the dragon. In Eastern myths, their battles symbolize the clash between celestial order, griffin, and chaotic creation, dragon. A Tibetan scroll depicts a griffin pinning a dragon beneath Himalayan peaks, its talons gripping the serpent's throat not to kill, but to siphon its creative fury. The griffin, in turn, breathed this chaos into the winds, seeding monsoons and new life. But in Europe, their rivalry turned personal. When St. George slew his dragon, a griffin was said to watch from a nearby cliff. As the dragon fell, the griffin screeched, not in triumph, but mourning. For without the dragon's chaos, the griffin's purpose dimmed. This paradox birthed a cryptic proverb. The guardian needs the thief. The saint needs the sinner. The griffin needs the dragon. The griffin's prophecy, Renaissance art, and the hidden rebellion. During the Renaissance, griffins adorned palaces and grimoires. Yet their depictions held subversive secrets. Botticelli hid a griffin in Primavera, its eyes fixed on the three graces, a nod to Plato's ideal forms. Michelangelo carved one into the base of David, symbolizing Florence's defiance against Rome. But the boldest act came from Leonardo da Vinci, who sketched a griffin with human hands, scribbling beside it, "What if man could become the bridge?" A coded message, scholars argue these artists used griffins to critique the church's tyranny. The griffin, once a divine servant, now became a rebel, a silent ally of humanists and heretics. Its image in clandestine pamphlets signaled underground resistance, a call to guard reason against dogma. The modern Griffin, from Freud to fantasy. In Freud's interpretation of dreams, the Griffin appears as a manifestation of the superego, the moral arbiter torn between animal instinct and societal duty. Jung, however, saw it as the self, the archetype of wholeness. Yet the Griffin refused to be caged by theory. It escaped into fantasy literature. C.S. Lewis's Griffins fight alongside Aslan. Tolkien's eagles echo their majesty. And Rowling's hippogriffs inherit their duality. A pop culture paradox. In 1977, a Griffin starred in a surreal Japanese anime, Gatchaman, as a mechanized guardian of Earth. Its design fused samurai armor with neon wings, a metaphor for Japan's post-war struggle to balance tradition and modernity. The Griffin, ever adaptable, had become a mirror for every era's existential duel. The unanswered riddle, what the Griffin knows. Recall Alexander's encounter in the Sahara. The riddle, what is born of earth and sky, dies by human hands, yet outlives time, has haunted scholars. Proposed answers range from hope to stories. But the truest lies in the Griffin's essence, meaning. Meaning is crafted from earthly experience and celestial aspiration, earth and sky. It dies when humans reduce life to mere survival, human hands. Yet it outlives time because, like the Griffin, meaning is reborn each time we choose to guard something greater than ourselves. Epilogue, the Griffin in you. You need not trek to Hyperborea to meet the Griffin. It dwells in the moment you hesitate between revenge and forgiveness. In the artist's struggle to perfect a line. In the quiet resolve to protect a loved one. Its wings beat in every act of courage that defies despair. The Griffin is not a relic, but a rhythm, an eternal reminder that guardianship is not a duty, but a dance. Your voice shapes the next legend. If this journey through the Griffin's ages has ignited your spirit, let the skies hear your like and subscribe. The Griffin's Talon points. To new horizons, tell us in the comments. Which mythic beings should we unveil next? Titans? Phoenixes? Or perhaps a deity forgotten by time? Speak, and the next Odyssey begins. Parting wisdom, keepers of the balance. As shadows lengthen and stars reclaim the sky, remember the Griffin's lesson. To live fully is to guard the fragile thresholds between self and other, past and future, the mortal and the divine. Cherish your gold, tend your fires, and when the weight of worlds feels heavy, listen for the whisper of wings. Farewell and guard well.